All right, up first, we have Cincinnati with Coach Wes Miller, senior John Newman III, junior David Julius, sophomore Mike Saunders Jr. For those of you that are on the Zoom call with us, we will have questions from inside the room first. If you guys are on the Zoom, if you want to raise your hand, we'll call upon you individually. But first, we'll start with Coach and your opening statement.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a tough stretch here over the last month, and we've been in a number of really close games and haven't been able to close them out down the stretch. And we've also spent the year in practice working at it and talking about it, about having an identity being built around our defense and being able to get stops when it matters. And it was great to see that come together tonight down the stretch. There's a number of great individual performances. I thought Dave was really good early, just kind of loosening up the game for us offensively and finding the basket. I thought John Newman defensively, that's one for my memory bank there as a coach in terms of his effort defensively. That one will go down because he was phenomenal in the first half, and then we put him on Newton in the second half. And I know Newton still got 11 in the second half, but boy, they were a different kind of 11. He had to really earn them, and I thought that disrupted their offensive rhythm a little bit. I thought Abdul, some of the plays he made around the basket late in the second half to alter shots. I think he had 3 blocks. His communication defensively, some of his screens out there out front on the ball or off the ball were a big factor down the stretch. And, then I thought Mike Saunders, man, he makes a bunch of big plays for us tonight. He makes a huge 3 in front of our bench that I thought just gave us a lot of confidence, make some plays in transition. So it was good to see him play that confidently offensively, and I thought that gave us a boost. The first game in a conference tournament's always the most difficult one from my experience. They're always, just the nerves are there. Sometimes you can want it a little too much. And, I've never felt that this group didn't want it. This group wants to be good. They work at it every day. I've been really proud of that. And I think at times tonight, we almost wanted it a little too much, especially in the first half. You could just kind of feel that, and coaching staff and players included. So I'm glad we found the right column in the win-loss column, and I hope that can give us some confidence to get back to how we were playing back in January.
For those in the room, if you don't mind raising your hand, we'll bring a microphone over to you to get your question in.
Coach, you mentioned putting John on Newton it seemed like late in the first half. Just kind of what went into that decision, and then John, if you could speak to it too, what your kind of game plan was against it.
Just to give him more length. It's funny, we talked about it in both of the first 2 games, because you look at his numbers, right? I mean, even going into the first game that we played them at home, and we kind of felt like, number one, Dave's done such a good job this year taking on the challenge of the best defensive player on the other team. And I thought in January, he was about as good of a 2-way guy as I've coached. I mean, he was guarding the heck out of the other team's best guard. And sometimes he's giving up 4 or 5 inches, and then we're doing so much for him offensively. And I'd be saying this if he wasn't sitting here anyway, but the first 2 games, other than the last 4 minutes of that second game, I thought we defended him, or he had as much difficulty as he did against anybody else in the league. So ironically, Dave brings it up in a meeting last night, like, hey, coach, what about putting John on Newton? Is that something y'all thought about? I almost wanted to say, shut up, like we hadn't had to do that yet, listen, we talked about it the first 2 games, hadn't had to do it. We talked about it in front of the team last night when Dave brought it up, and it did feel like the right thing to do with the kind of first half that he had.
Yeah, I think, he's a good player. Obviously, he still had himself a pretty good game, but I just go in the game, just try to make an impact any way I can. And tonight, that was where I was needed. So I just kind of keyed in on him, just try to stay in front of him, use my length, and it worked out.
Wes, what was the plan against Vance Jackson? I mean, he had 16 points, 10 rebounds a night, but those 16 points compared to what he's done to you guys earlier this season is nothing. So what was the plan against him tonight?
Well, no, we talked a lot about, we'd done a nice job on Newton the first 2 games, given the kind of player he is. And we hadn't done that job on Jackson. We didn't want to neglect Newton, but I think it's just human nature. I mean, somebody's averaging 30 on you over the course of 2 games, like you're going to have a sense of urgency about it. I thought our group had a sense of urgency to try to defend him. I thought it was almost took it personal in a good way. Like, hey, we're not going to let somebody come in and average 30 on us again. So I thought that was part of it. Scheme wise, yeah, we talked a lot about different actions they run for him, kind of their special plays for him, the best ways to defend him. And I thought the guys did a nice job of executing that. Early on, we made some mistakes on him, leaving our feet around the basket and in the post. But over the course of the game, I thought we did a nice job.
Question in the front.
This question's for Wes Miller. Jeremiah had a slow shooting start, but he came down with a 5-0 run late in the second half. What was the message to him late in the game? Was it to keep shooting or find your rhythm? What was the message to JD?
To Jeremiah Davenport, shoot. I mean, it's pretty simple. I think these three guys will agree, shoot the ball. We all love it when he shoots. You know, we do a lot of things for him to shoot the ball, and I think we have utmost confidence in him. And, you know, I always identified as a player, as a shooter, and I always thought the next one was going in. I think that's the way Jeremiah thinks about it. And I think he's got the confidence of the coaching staff and his teammates. So we wanted them to just keep shooting. I thought he made a really big one in front of our bench when they went zone. And that just shows you he was having a tough shooting night, but makes a big play in a big moment, you know, in the second half of a conference tournament game.
Coach, looked like there was some exchanging of words, little scuffle at halftime going to the tunnel. As much as you could tell us about that, and did it give any kind of a spark in the second half?
No, I was so far behind it. I was just a part of the breakup process. I don't know what happened. We didn't have time to unpack what happened in the locker room at halftime because we're trying to prepare these guys for the second half. So I do not know what happened, but obviously you don't want those type of things, but I thought our guys handled themselves well from everything that I was able to see.
David, there was a play in the first half where you were going to the basket. You were kind of sandwiched between two defenders, hard play to the ground. There was no foul call on that play. Did that play kind of set the tone for the day? Did you know at that point that this is just going to be a physical game?
Yeah, most definitely. But it's tournament play, it's March play. Some things may have to carry on, but I just kind of want to stay resilient through that. And my coaches and my teammates as well was on my side as well, just telling me to play the next play.
Are we going to go to Zoom to Chad Brindle? Looks like you're muted, Chad.
My bad. Mikey, second half, you provided a spark offensively, hitting a couple shots. Did you feel like that was something just the team needed in terms of being a little bit more aggressive in those moments?
Honestly, I was just playing in the flow of the game. I wasn't necessarily thinking about scoring or anything. I was just thinking about how we're going to win the next possession. So, you know, when the shots came, I just took them, and that's simply it. I'm just out there trying to make winning plays, and worked out for us.
Any other questions, Chad?
Yeah, one more for Coach Miller. I know you talked about Jackson a little bit, but he did get going in the first half with 12 on 4-7 shooting. Was there any change in the second half? He was 2 of 11, 0 of 6 from 3. He only scored 4 points. Or did you just do a better job assignment-wise on closing out and keeping them out of rhythm?
Yeah, the short answer is we did a much better job, you know, executing our assignment and game plan in the second half. I think in the first half, we really trying to stay down on him around the basket. You know, he is as great of a 3-point shooter as he is, and he can really shoot it. You know, when he gets inside the three, he's really searching for angles. So we worked on it in practice, and we talked about it a ton and watched film, and we left our feet a couple times on him that got him loose. We fouled him. You know, we got him to the free throw line. We didn't make him score over us inside of 3. And then we messed up a couple assignments on him out on the perimeter that got him some. He missed one, made 1 or 2. I mean, so a lot of the first half success, and give him credit because he made the plays, was, you know, missed coverages and missed assignments. And I thought we did a better job of that in the second half. I think the only one in the second half, he makes over top of us. He makes about a 10, 12 footer and face up in the post against JD. And we had told our guys we're willing to live with that. And that's the only basket I can remember that he makes in the second half where we executed an assignment and he still scored.
All right, question inside the room.
Coach, you mentioned Duel, and he had a couple weak side blocks in the second half. Was he able to get healthy over this kind of time off you had, and what impact, especially in the second half, do you feel like he had overall on defense?
Well, I think, the word healthy is a relative term with Abdul. I mean, I think these guys know that. Healthy, he probably hadn't been healthy in 4 years, right? Real healthy. I don't think, anybody at Cincinnati's ever been able to see Abdul at 100%. But I do think just watching him this week in practice, he got to run. And when he was playing it, I thought the healthiest point he's been this year in January, he was running like a deer in practice and in really good shape and moving a little differently. And then he had that injury at South Florida. And I don't think he ever got back to that. This week, he was running in practice again and getting in better shape and moving a little differently. So I do think he's feeling better than he felt over the last month. But I think if you asked him if he's healthy, he'd laugh at you because he's nowhere near 100%.
Any other questions? One more inside the room.
You guys got 26 points from your guys off the bench. Mikey, can you talk about, as one of the leaders of that unit, how important those guys were in this win today?
Oh, it was big for us. That just showed the depth that we have on our team. We have bodies, and that's the most important thing, is having enough guys to just play. So the fact that we was able to, produce offensively, that was, like I said, really big for us. And we got to keep it going. We just got to look on to the next one.
All right, last question.
David, that game earlier at ECU, you had the floater to win it. You had a couple of those today. You had the step back working. Offensively, do you just feel like you have kind of everything at your arsenal right now?
Yes, I do. That's just a testament to hard work. But most important, it's a testament to my coaching staff believing in me, and my teammates believing in me as well. And I wouldn't be nearly the player I am without them. Just to shed some light on them guys, as he said about John Newman, I feel like he don't get enough credit for our team. He's literally, him and Dewey, like the backbone of our team, especially on the defensive end, and they erase a lot of our mistakes. And then you got guys like Mike and Mason and them guys coming in off the bench and giving us a great stretch. And it allows a guy like me the job to be easy and allow me to be the best player that I can be.
All right, thank you, guys.
You can go that way too.
All right, East Carolina coach Joe Dooley, senior Vance Jackson, and sophomore Tristan Newton. We'll open up with coach's statement here in just a second. For those of you that are on the Zoom call, if you have a question, we will have questions in the room first, but if you can raise your hand so we can call upon you individually. But coach, if you want to open us up.
Obviously, we're disappointed. Appreciate the contributions and the effort that the guys gave during the year. I thought, we did some good things. I thought the guys tried hard, had a good group of guys to work with. I really can't complain about that. The game today, I think, obviously points off of turnovers were a big key. And then, at the end, they go on an 18-5 run to finish the game, which, we had some good looks. We had some times we need to get some stops and wrap up possession that we didn't. I give Cincinnati credit for making some plays. Davenport made a couple big plays. Saunders made a couple big plays, and we answered some and didn't answer others.
Questions inside the room?
Coach, you guys had 41 in the first half, 22 in the second half. I know they talked about changing some things up on how they regard Newton, but what did you see from your perspective on what Cincinnati did and then the struggles on offense for you guys?
Well, we had some looks that we missed, which was a big part. I thought those were some things, and I didn't think our shot selection in the second half was as good as it was in the first half. And then, like we talked about, we didn't, we gave up some transition baskets, and we did miss a few open shots, which would have helped. It would have helped if we had another guy or a collective group of guys, add a couple more points along with these two guys.
Vance, you've had so much success against Cincinnati this season, only 16 points tonight. Did they do anything differently defending you today?
Not really. I just feel like I just missed too many shots, wide open shots. And I feel like, yeah, I just missed too many shots. To be honest, they're all shots I know I can make. My teammates believe in me, the coaches believe in me. So I just feel like I had to just do better. You know what I'm saying? I'm shooting 2 for 10 from 3. That's not good at all. But, I tried, and I'm just thankful for like just having the opportunity, coaches and my teammates just entrusting me.
Tristan, you started 6 for 8 in the first half. What did you find that was working for you in the first half early? And then in the second half, we saw them transition John onto you in the second half. What did you find was working early, and going on, you finished with 26 points tonight?
Working early, I just feel like it was really my teammates setting ball screens, setting good ball screens. Luigi, man, so they're all setting good ball screens. I was getting that hook into my spots. I feel like second half, I think I was forcing a little bit too much. I feel like I could have came off the ball a little bit more, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like just gotta work on shot selection. So in the first half, I was getting to my spot. Second half, I wasn't. So I just gotta work on that.
Coach, it looked like there was a little bit of a scuffle at halftime going into the tunnels. Just curious if you could speak to what happened from your perspective there.
Nothing happened. I mean, everything's fine.
Any more questions inside the room? One more, and then we'll go to our Zoom call. For those of y'all on our Zoom, if you want to raise your hand, we'll be able to call upon you individually.
Good. Yeah. Oh, sorry. A couple of times you went zone for a possession or two. That's something that Cincinnati struggled going against zone in the season. Did you see any change in how they played against it tonight? And did you think about sticking with it anymore?
We did, and we came back out, and then Davenport hit a big 3. I thought we did a nice job. We turned them over with a little soft press to change it a little bit. They ran their overload. Davenport hit a big shot. That was a big play. But I just think we're comfortable. I thought for the most part we guarded well enough man to man. We mixed in some zone, and it seemed like we were in a little bit of a scramble mode. Obviously Davenport hit that one, but we had a couple of times where he guarded the dribble off the zone also.
All right, we're going to go to our guest on the Zoom. I'm going to start with Steven.
Joe, you guys, I think Tristan hit a 3 just under 4 minutes ago to put you guys up 1 and then don't score again. Just how do you kind of maybe sum up those final 4 minutes where things didn't go your way?
Frustrating. I mean, I thought we had a couple looks. We had a couple ones that we probably wish we could have had back. I mean, we talked about that, but and then, when you get stops, you got to rebound the ball. We had a couple where we didn't defensive rebound the ball in situations we needed to. And, I think those are all the things that are, they're difference in the game as we recognize.
In advance, you only got 1 year at East Carolina, but obviously a really good season for you. Just how would you kind of sum up this 1 year in Greenville playing for ECU?
It's been great. I'm thankful for the opportunity. Not many people could have 6 chances at college, so I just feel I took advantage of my opportunity, and I found a home in Greenville and represent ECU, and I'm just thankful for that, and I'm excited for my next chapter.
All right, any other questions from the Zoom side? And anybody else inside the room? All right, thank you, Coach.